Hello everyone, it's Anna here, and today I am bringing you a new boho macrame wall hanging tutorial. Today's project started with me picking up this beautiful piece of driftwood, and just like any other macrame artist, I love the combination of driftwood and the boho style. Before we jump into the tutorial, I wanted to share with you that I started working with the platform Creative Fabrica, and now you can find more of my original content exclusively created for Creative Fabrica on their website. This geometric wall hanging is already live, and you can find a link to it down below in the description of the video, and more projects are coming. So if you don't want to miss out on that extra content, go check it out. And they have tons and tons of other classes available as well on not just macrame, but embroidery and knitting and drawing and pottery and everything. So go check it out. And now back to our tutorial. So to recreate this piece, you will of course need a piece of driftwood to hang it on. And then I will be using 3 different types of cord and colors, all in these very neutral shades. The first one being this neutral braided 5mm cord. Then I've got this 3-ply, also 5mm cord, and this, I think the color is called Avocado, so this sort of very earthy green. And then last but not least, this one, which is a single twist cord, also 5mm, and this one is in the color Sand. Now you probably noticed all 3 cords are 3 different types of cords. We've got the braided, the 3-ply, and the single twist. Now there is no real reason that I'm using the different types, not for this project at least, other than probably the braided cord, the one that's in the neutral color. I know I will be using a lot of it, and from experience, I know that the braided cords are usually the cheapest ones to buy, so that's why I have decided to go with braided cord for that one. But the other 2 cords, the green and the beige, I already had those cords at home, so I wouldn't mind if I had either, braided or single twist or 3-ply, whatever version of it, I would be okay with it for this project. And that's it for the supplies today. I think I might be using a hot glue gun at the very end when I'm attaching the hanging cord to the piece, but we'll get there later. And I know there is a lot of you that are very new to my channel, so just be aware that for all the measurements and the description, the list of supplies, everything you will find in the description of this video. So I'm not mentioning throughout the video how long my cords are. You will have to go to the description to find that. And that's it for the intro. I think I'm ready to start cutting my cords and attaching the first section. So I've got my piece of driftwood ready on my clothing rack, and in case you would be wondering why I'm using this specific one, head over to that video where I explain it. I've got my cord ready, and I'll be using the regular lark's head knot to put them on the piece of driftwood. Now, if you want a time-saving tip, watch this. So you've got your cord right here, and what you would normally do is put it over the piece of driftwood and then, pull it through here. If the cords are long as mine are, what you can do is make the lark's head knot in your hand. So you still have them folded in half, then you fold them down like this, grab the middle cords, and then you have your lark's head knot right here, and you just put it on your dowel or on your piece of driftwood. And I also have 2 cost-saving tips for you when it comes to the cords. So wait for those until I put all of my cords up.
Out of my mind, how could I be so blind? How could I not see? Awake on the floor, looking up, wanting more. This is so unreal. I must have been wrong. 'Cause your love is strong.
All of the 18 cords are up, so now for those cost-saving tips. Basically, both of them are about using less cord, therefore saving money. So, what I have in my head, the idea for the pattern is that all of these cords are going to create Solomon bars. A Solomon bar is basically a couple of square knots stacked up against each other. And as you might know, when you do that, just like when you're doing a spiral knot, out of the 4 cords that you're using, it is only the ones on the sides that are actually, doing the knot that are getting shorter. The filler cords that are in the middle, they stay the exact same length because they're not making any knots. They're just filling the core. So that means these 2 cords, these 2 sides of each of the cord can be a lot shorter than the ones on the sides. So as I was putting the cords up, I wasn't really paying attention too much whether this is in the middle, the lark's head knot, because I didn't want it to be in the middle. And you saw me do this little motion where I'm pulling up one side of the cord and then tightening the other side. As I was doing that, I was looking at the bottom of the cords because basically the short sides, you want them to be the final length of this entire section. So I've decided where more or less this whole section is going to end, where I want all of the cords to end. And that was the length, the level to which I pulled these 2 middle cords, and then I've just tightened the other cords, the ones that I need to be longer to make the knots. I hope that made sense. And then for the other cost-saving tip, again, this is because of the pattern I'm thinking of. So the Solomon bars I was mentioning, I want to do them in this sort of like a triangle shape. So here in the middle, there is going to be a long section, a long Solomon bar, and then on these sides, maybe only 1 or 2 knots. So that means, again, that I can use less cord or shorter cords from here to here. So the shortest on the sides here, and then the longest in the middle where I will be doing most of the knots. So for those of you that just want things easy and you don't care about saving cord, do the lark's head knots as you used to, just fold the cord in the middle and then cut all of the cords the same length just to make things easier for yourself. Now, if you do care about the cost, then follow the tips I gave you also in the description where I have the measurements of all of the cords. I've put both the more expensive version, I guess, which is cutting all of the cords the same length, and the cost-saving version where each of these cords is a different length. All right, enough talking, let's do some Solomon bars. So we are going to start by making a square knot. I'm showing you a little bit slower here, but I think all of you know the square knot by now. Then we do the other side of it. And to create the Solomon bar, you will do another square knot right underneath the one you have just made. And I'm going to do the same thing, so first only adding 2 square knots for all of the cords that I have up now. I will keep adding square knots like this, but always after completing 2, I am going to leave out the next 4 cords in line so that we get to this triangular shape. Solomon bars are done, and now I get to add the other colors. I will be adding both the green and the beige, starting with the beige and using the gathering knot. So first, I'm folding these cords so that the two on the sides are in the back. I take the piece of colored cord, I hold it in the back together with those cords, leaving just a little section up there. Then I make a loop down here that's more or less the length of the entire gathering knot that I want to make. And then I can start looping that longer section around it, making sure that it is nice and tight. And then once you reach the desired length of the gathering knot, again coming to the back, so I'm turning it around a little bit, you are going to pull this cord that you've been wrapping the knots with through this loop that you had there prepared. And then at the top here, you will pull on this cord so that here it comes underneath those knots, those other loops. And then from the front, it should look pretty seamless. And now I'll just add the green cord underneath here in the exact same way, measuring more or less the same length, the same distance. And now we can chop off all these, remaining pieces of cord. And of course, we repeat on all of the Solomon bars. And here we are. I added all of my beige and green cords, but I have to say those gathering knots, I don't know about you, but I mean, they're technically easy, but they're not easy to do. To make sure that they look nice, that they're not like twisting and that everything is really hidden and in the back. Glad that's done. And now I can move on to my next section, which will be adding some braids right here from those beige cords. I've put up 3 cords on each side of that middle section, and now I can start my braid. And this really is going to be a super simple braid, always using each of the 2 cords that are hanging down from here to weave that braid, just like you would do with your hair. And so I'm going to weave that braid until I get to the desired length, maybe a little bit more. And then I've got this hair accessory, hair clip ready, where I'm just going to put it on like this. Not that, this is just too short, but at the end I'll put it on like this to just hold it together until I do the other side. One thing when you are starting on the other side, check to see which cord have you started with on this side. And here, my first cord that I weaved was the one on the very left, the outer edge. So here, same thing. I'll take the one, opposite. I'll take the one on the far right, and that's the one I'll start with so that I am creating this perfect mirror image to that one. And the braid is done, connected down there temporarily, and now we can add on the next section. So I've added 5 cords on each side, and now I'm going to be creating this diamond pattern using the double half hitch. And because these are really long cords, I am using my fast way of doing the double half hitch. If you're not sure what I'm doing, head over to my double half hitch video where I show you the slow version of this. Then we continue with the other half down here. get to this intersection right here, it will be the cord on the left that becomes the travel cord, and the cord on the right that will do the double half hitch over that travel cord. And then we continue just like we did the top. So going like this to create that first half of the diamond, and then again down here, this second section. So I have completed 6 of those diamonds on this side, and now I can move on to the other side over there. I'm done with the other side now as well, and just a few things before we connect them. First one being the crossings. Notice that both on this side and this side, the cord that's on top is the cord that's going inward. So we're creating this sort of a shape in all of the crossings like so. Second thing being the tension. Notice that what I'm always doing, and especially with that very first diamond, I make sure that this side, the inner side, is just slightly shorter than the outer side, the outer cords. That is so that it will look nice when I connect the two sides together in the middle. If I didn't do that, if I kept both of the sides the same, once I would connect them, it would create a lot of extra cord up here in this section. And then the last thing, you may have noticed that I'm creating these very small gaps always on this side of the pattern, the outer side. That is on purpose because I will be adding more cords in there later. So to make the connection, I have added just the 4 double half hitch knots to continue that pattern and to get them closer together. And here I'll pick one of the cords, doesn't really matter which one, to be the travel cord, and the other one is again going to do a double half hitch to make that connection right there. And it is a little bit more tricky because the sides are really heavy, but it should look something like this. And then I will do a couple more rows. So first leaving out the 2 cords on the side and adding a row of double half hitch knots here. And then I add again 1 more row, leaving out the 2 cords on the side. So using this one as the travel cord. And here we are with all 3 rows connected. All right, the 2 sections are connected. And what I will do now is add all of the fringe pieces to these 2 sides, and that's super simple. I take a piece of my cord and I use the lark's head knot to put it on. So pull it through this last cord or here, this gap, and then voila, lark's head knot is on, and I'll just fill this entire space with these cords. Well, that was a lot of fringe to add. And now for the final part, which will be again the same braid like we did here, except this time it will be using the green cords. So I'll add them right here on the very ends, and then it will connect with this braid here. So both the green cords are added, and I'll start doing the braids, making them exactly the same way like I did this one. So now the green braid is done as well, and I will connect all 4 sides in the middle here using the white cord or the neutral and that same gathering knot that we did up here. Okay, bear with me here. This might be a little bit more tricky. So I'm grabbing my cord, putting it to the back, then making that loop right here, holding that all down, and then I will start wrapping. trying to tighten that cord. I think this is good enough in terms of the wrapping. So I'll pull the rest of the cord through the loop and then pull on this cord up here and get it into the back. And I think that looks good, nice and centered, so I'm happy with that. And now to finish it off, I need to trim the ends down there. And I went for a very sharp trim at the ends there. Guys, I don't know about you, but I think I am in love. This looks exactly like I had planned it in my head. I love the combination of those neutral tones. I really enjoyed that first part in the middle, which was something new, a different pattern that I haven't done before. And it was just, again, such a fun project to get into. If you've liked it, give this video a thumbs up, comment below if you have any questions, anything like that. Don't forget, in the description, you will find all the measurements, links to the cords, everything in there. And I have promised you that I will also show you how to hang the piece, how to add the hanging cord. So that's coming up in just a second. Hang my piece, I'll be adding this hanging cord, which is just this jute cord using the constrictor knot. And the first thing I need to do is turn the work around so that I'm looking at the back of the work. All right, so we've got this shorter side of the cord and then the majority of the cord that we want to use to hang this. So first step, we come over here, I hold it with my thumb, I then wrap this short piece of the cord around that stick, making this little X right here. I'll then do one more wrap, and then this end of the cord is gonna come underneath the X, and then I pull it tight. Pulling on both ends, the shorter one and the longer one. Make sure it is placed wherever you want it before you really tighten it, because then it is very difficult to untie again. And now if we come to the other side, I've measured how long more or less I want this cord to be to hang it nicely. I will again hold down this piece of the cord right here, do that wrap so that I have my little X here again. So I'm holding down the X, I find the end of this cord and wrap it around here, and just like before, I am going to pull it underneath that X and out through here. All the way, and then again, we tighten once we know that it's in the right place. And that's it. You can see that that little knot is holding this really well. You can then just chop off the rest of these cords. I would maybe put like a smidge of glue underneath here and just glue wherever you're gonna cut this off, just to make sure it doesn't escape that knot. And that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you have enjoyed watching this amazing piece come to life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.